Hey, what's up, everyone? How's everyone feeling today? Real quick, I want to talk to you about how to ask the question. How to ask the question from either brokers or from sellers about creative financing. That's today's topic. We're going to dive right in. So how to know to ask the question? Well, the key thing is you always got to understand is that you have to ask the question. You know, a lot of times when I get from individuals, when I talk about creative financing, they're thinking that there's not a lot of deals out there, there's not enough deals out there. Keep in mind, most sellers that you're going to come across, they're not going to want to sell on creative financing, whether it's a master lease option on an apartment building or if it's a seller financing deal. Most sellers are just going to want to cash out. That's just part of how people operate. But there is opportunities out there for creative financing. But the question is that you have to ask yourself is, I need to ask the question. I have to ask, because if I don't ask and I'm always assuming that they won't do creative financing, then they're not going to do creative financing. So you have to believe that they'll be willing to do creative financing. So one of the deals that I'm actually working on right now is a 56 unit. And I asked the broker, which I got this deal from a broker, I asked the broker, is the seller open for creative financing? So the broker went back and asked the seller, and the broker came back to me and said, yes, the seller is interested. What do you have in mind? Or put it on paper. So now I'm going to put over a LOI to him, and I'm going to give him 3 terms. I'm going to give him a master lease term, I'm going to give him a seller financing term, and I'm going to give him a cash offer term. Typically, a lot of times if they do creative financing, if they do a master lease, or if they do a seller financing term, I would typically get them close to her asking price just because they're going to be carrying back the note. Now, the key component with me is I understand is that, you know, I'm willing to give you your price if you're willing to give me my terms. Now, if you want your price and you're trying to figure out the terms, the seller, then it's not going to work because I'm not going to give him his price and then also he wants to create the terms. I'll give you your price if you can give me my terms. So that's one of the things that I always have in the back of my mind when I'm looking at deals. I always ask the question, is the seller willing to do seller financing? If that's 20%, 30% carry back in the second position, 20% in the second position, or even 50% in the second position. It just depends on the deal and depends on the numbers and depends on the NOI. So I hope that this video helps. I hope that this video makes sense. And always keep in mind when you're going to do creative financing, make sure that you're able to cover the debt service and there's cash flow left over at the debt service. Even if you got to get an equity partner involved, which will be a passive investor, if you got to get them involved, make sure that the debt cover is covered and make sure the equity partner is covered with their return, and then also there's cash flow left over at the bottom dollar for you to be able to cash flow on this apartment building. So I hope that helps. If you like these videos, like that button, hit the subscribe button, and I'm going to continue to share more content about real estate, creative financing, and how you can get involved in deals and how you can create legacy wealth for you and your family. That's all I have today. This is Mark Perry, and I'll see you on the other side. Thank you.